It's called Crybabys?
Yes.
Right.
And actually, I'm going to close the door just to give us a little more privacy. It's kind of a sanctuary.
This kid is laughing. He's not crying.
I just thought it was too silly for him to, you know, actually cry.
So how many people did you...
We taped about 60 people, and we used about 20.
And where did you do this?
I did it all over Portland. I started out with a circle of family, most of whom weren't very interested in doing this. Then I went to friends. I got a little better percentage. Then I sort of looked at the demographics because I wanted a broad spectrum of ages. And we were kind of lacking in older people. So I went to a senior center and used some people there. And then I finished, then I went to a high school, and they were the best. They were the most responsive to the situation. They could turn it on and off, and they put a lot of energy into it. So they were actually the best group. And
they're probably the ones that had the most to cry about.
Yes.
At that age.
Well, also their emotions are right at the top of their heads, you know. They don't have all this other overlay that prevents people from publicly crying. And then I hired some professional actors just to round it out, you know. And I don't know if you can tell who's the professional and who isn't, because it's a pretty good mix. And then we used a couple of actual babies. But because the parents were there, they didn't really want me to make them cry, so I didn't get too far with that. Myself and Kerry Davis. Because when you get into electronics and video and this and that, and this is a fairly large space. It's the largest space I've worked in. It's just better to have two people than one person. I would drive myself crazy trying to coordinate things. So.
What gave you the idea for this crying?
Oh, I think I just felt that there's a lot of things to cry about these days, and a lot of people aren't expressing. I don't know. I personally myself feel like it's something that people should engage in, you know, and things aren't that happy right now. So that's my thought. And I thought this would be an interesting device to allow people to take that position without feeling like they were on the spot to do it. It's more like it's a activity, you know? And it can be viewed as humorous and bizarre and this and that, but I think at the root of it, I'm serious.
So what's this idea about this crying station?
Well, the Portland Arts Center likes to have interactive shows. So I wanted to give people the opportunity, if they wanted, to come over here, get on the microphone, and sit down in a chair and cry, you know. No one has taken me up on it. I just, you know, and I've been asked by people when I'm doing these sessions, why don't you do it? And I think since I came up with the idea, I don't need to do it.
You don't have to do it.
I don't want to do it.
You're excused, huh?
I'm excused, exactly. Yeah.
Helen, would you like to try and cry for a few seconds?
No way.
That's what I said. We're artists. We don't need that's for the general public.
You paid your dues.
No, actually, I would have been a good candidate. I listened to that woman there, and she couldn't cry. She tried. She brought onions. She thought about her dead dog. And I thought, Jim should have asked me, because as Mario knows, in the last 2 years, I've cried like on command. I start thinking about stuff, and I'm like teary, and what's going to happen.
Been great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that would have been great.
But I imagine that's the challenge, finding people who have things to cry about and can do it easily, and then finding other people who say it's really hard.
Well, yes, and it was hard for me to actually elicit those responses, you know. At first, I left it totally up to the person to do however or whatever they wanted to do. And then when I didn't see anything happening, then I thought, I mean, in some cases people just would give me like 10 seconds and then that's it. But I really needed some screen time. So then I thought, well, I'll give them an idea. So I made it a little too easy, I think. I said, you can have a temper tantrum if you want, just like a baby in a crib. And so a lot of people did that, but it really didn't work, you know. So I threw out all of them.
Right. Well, I noticed that the subtitle is "Or a Sad State of Affairs." Now, is there a political connotation there? But
yeah, I think so. The genesis, yeah, it's kind of like the current state of affairs in this country.
Right.
So,
I mean, if we're not crying,
we should.
That should be a good bonus speaker. If you're not crying in Jim and Kerry's videos, you should be. You're not paying attention. That's it. You're not paying attention if you're not crying.
So it reminds me of what was happening in the 60s or 70s, where people were screaming.
As a public event, or
sort of like a scream therapy.
Oh yeah, what's it called?
I think scream therapy.
Well, there's also a person associated with that, and I'm trying to think. Well, there's a primal scream.
Oh yeah,
right. And that was a particular psychologist. I don't remember.
Well, this sort of reminds me of that.
Why am I being tortured here?
And these guys just turned it on and off. I thought she was really heartbroken.
Yeah,
and it turned out she just went in the hallway at the school and kind of worked herself.
And stabbed herself in the eye or something. No, with some makeup. No, I'm just kidding.
And there's a range of people that are very vocal, and some people, like her, doesn't make a sound.
Right.
You know?
Crying.
Yeah.
Now that kid's a natural. That kid is a natural.
Well, unfortunately, the parents didn't think it was too funny that we made the child cry, so that...
What'd you do?
So what did you do to the kid?
Well, we actually pretended we were crying. You know, we did sort of crocodile tears.
You were crying, and then the baby started crying.
And then I heard that there's a New York lady that gets pictures of the kids crying. I didn't use everyone, but basically no one got a second take. And I didn't, you know...
But did you show them, and then they...
No one ever saw the end result.
Until the end, it was
I've invited the kids to come and see the show. I don't think that many of them have come yet.
Who wants to see themselves crying?
Right, exactly. Well, you know. But I do think the high school kids are the best, you know, in terms of just letting it out, you know, unmitigated tears.